Well, welcome back to another episode of the Cruise Conversations podcast. I'm Frank.
And I'm Michael.
And today's episode is episode number 83, and we've got the Cruising Bear back on to review his Sun Princess 7-night cruise. Let's jump into it.
All right, Jeremy. Well, like we were just joking before we went live, we're back like we never left. So we had, if you hadn't checked out last week's episode yet, we had you on. We talked about your most recent Virgin Voyage cruise. This week we're talking Sun Princess. Now, a little bit of details for people who maybe hadn't listened to last week's episode yet. You actually did these cruises back to back. So we're going to kind of start off talking about that. You know, typically when we interview people about their cruises, it's about, the night before, either flying in or driving into whatever port they're in. Well, here you were getting off of your Virgin sailing and you were getting on Sun Princess the same day.
Next day, right? It was the next day.
Next day.
Okay. Well, but kind of close enough. I mean, this is kind of the first time we've actually talked about this on the podcast. So let's talk about your transition between your two cruises.
It was a, like I said, so I mentioned last time there's a trolley that runs from Virgin. It runs around the city, for free. So I get off of the Virgin ship. I jump on the trolley. I head over to Bayside Marketplace, and I just kind of hang there because I couldn't check into my Airbnb until 12. They gave me an early check-in, thankfully. Otherwise, I'd have been sitting there until 3. So I kind of sat around. I'm on video chat with Lori. I'm I'm shopping in the candy store. I'm just like killing time. Time comes. I get my Uber. I head over to the Airbnb. It's a quaint little place. It's in the back. It's close to the airport, Miami Airport. My cruise was leaving out of Fort Lauderdale. We ended up doing an Airbnb in Miami because there was not a lot of choices. If you look at Airbnbs in Miami, there's hundreds. Hundreds. There's so many. People turn rooms in their house and they wall them off and turn them into their Airbnbs, or they just rent small places. There's a ton of Airbnbs. Not that many in Fort Lauderdale, and the prices were higher. So we found a cheaper place in Miami, close to the airport, and then we figured the difference price between staying there and flying into Fort Lauderdale for her versus flying into Miami, staying there in the Uber was actually cheaper to stay in Miami and Uber over to Fort Lauderdale. So we got a place. It was this couple. They had a room in the back of their house. It was nice. It was air conditioned. They were the nicest hosts I've ever had in any Airbnb. They offered me, they texted me, "Hey, we made a ham sandwich. Do you want one?" I was like, man, these people are very nice.
That's a little too far. No.
It was great, man. It was an older couple. They were wonderful, man. I would stay there, 10 times out of 10 if I needed a place to stay from now on. Honestly, it was that nice. So it was very nice. Very small place. It was nice. It wasn't small, but it was nice. You could sleep 4 people if you need to. I liked it. I'll stay there again for sure.
Did you get to do any laundry? Because like you said, you just got off 5 nights Virgin. You're getting ready for 7 nights. That's a lot. Did you do laundry in between, or did you just kind of plan ahead for 12 outfits?
I didn't actually. When you're elite on Princess, you get a free laundry. So my sister and I are both elite. So she came in. We just did laundry. I just put laundry in the first day and got it back the next day, and it was good to go.
Well, we're going to talk about Sun Princess. I just wanted to quickly shout out our episode, I believe it was 74. So almost 10 episodes ago, we had you on. We talked about Princess versus Celebrity, which was a lot of fun. But I think a lot of that conversation about Princess kind of alludes to this in your experience on board. So If you haven't listened to that one, besides this Virgin one we just recorded, go check out 74, because that will give you a little bit of the backstory, kind of your amped kind of excitement, if you will, about this cruise for Sun Princess. So you got on, you're going to Fort Lauderdale, right? You were staying in Miami. How was the embarkation process for the Sun Princess? Did you have any issues or any hiccups getting on board?
No, I mean there was a big wreck or something happened on the way there. It took us about an hour to get from Miami to Fort Lauderdale, which is a lot longer than normal. We get there. I mean, my experience with the Fort Lauderdale port is not normally the best. The line was probably a couple hundred people long to get into the port, but it moved. There was no point where we're just standing there doing nothing. We were all, you were shuffling forward, but I'd say probably 200 people, 200 or 300 people in front of me probably got through in about 20, 30 minutes. It really wasn't that bad. And once we got on, we just walked right through. It was a lot of people. It seemed unorganized. It seemed like it was going to take forever, but it went fast. So it was actually pretty easily.
Now, talking Sun Princess, this is Princess's newest ship. So, I think we've talked about some of the experiences that we're going to talk about today that are new to this ship. We've talked about on the past podcast episodes, but what were some of your first thoughts when you first stepped on to the Sun Princess?
It was kind of getting on was a little different because we got on and our rooms were already ready. We stayed in this, we had a Sanctuary Club mini suite. So we got on, honestly, we went right to our room and dropped our backpacks off. I was very hungry, so we dropped off. I took some video, took some pictures, kind of took in what we had, what was there, unpacked a little bit. Our bags ended up showing up while we were doing that. Then we went up and went and ate. So it was a little bit different for us. We did our muster while we were there. Our muster was right next to the buffet, so it was like a very smooth process for us. But everything, I mean, it's the last two ships I had been on. Well, the newest two ships I've been on by Princess was the Sky and the Regal. And for me, this was more beautiful than both of them. This is a gorgeous ship. It's absolutely beautiful. I love it.
You kind of mentioned a little bit about your room having that Sanctuary Club mini suite. Do you want to just quickly give a high level of like what that room is for those that aren't familiar with how Princess does their rooms and kind of what the perks are and everything?
They have mini suites, but it's kind of an updated balcony. You get a little bigger room than a regular balcony, a little different amenities. And then they recently came out with a Sanctuary Club for their Sphere class. It's the kind of their answer to ship within a ship. You think Haven, retreat, yacht club. It's that kind of experience without the butler, without some of the amenities. So it's not quite the price of those, but it's also and not all the amenities you get for those. We didn't know a whole lot going into it. You get access to a special deck. You get access to the restaurant, and you get embarkation, disembarkation. You know, you get priority when you do tender. You get little perks. It's nice. A mini suite. They have some balcony rooms that are those. They have like 12 balcony rooms that are Sanctuary Club, a set of mini suites, and then all their suites. When you book Sanctuary Club, you automatically get Princess Premier. We did not have Premier. We had Princess Plus. We had booked a suite, the mini suite, and it just so happens those mini suites got turned into Sanctuary Club. So we kind of got moved into Sanctuary Club with the Plus package. Didn't have Premier. Saying that, I wonder if Premier is kind of overkill for having the Sanctuary Club with all you get for it.
Yeah, that's a good point.
All right, so like you said, you've been to your room now. You've done your muster drill. You went to the buffet to get some lunch in you. What did you end up doing for sail away?
So it's funny. We missed Sail Away. So what we do, this was kind of an OG cruise. It was my sister and I. She's the one that got me into cruising. We've done a lot of cruises together. When we cruise, she kind of taught me this, that if it's a cruise ship you haven't been on before, especially a class you haven't been on before, once you get settled in, we go to the top, start forward, work aft, go down a level, and kind of go everywhere, see everything, kind of see what's available, what's around. We were doing that, and I look out the window, and we're moving. I was like, "Oh, we sailed away." I look, we're passing Miami. I was like, "Oh, I completely missed sailed away. We didn't even see it."
No, I mean, I've definitely been in that same boat too. You're just so excited about the ship, you get caught up in like an activity, and then you're like, oh dang, we're moving now, and you forget to go do like the sail away party or go up to one of the top decks. So seems like you guys are really enjoying the ship tour.
Speaking of that, though, Jeremy, what does Princess do for their sail away? Is it like on the main pool deck? Is it in like a center atrium? Where do they host their sail away parties?
They have a pool deck sail away party. The same. It may not be as you're not talking carnival, but they do the same like everybody else. They have some on the pool deck, music playing. People out there having a good time.
So this was another Western Caribbean cruise, Jeremy. So you hit Roatan, Belize City, and then Cozumel. Let's talk first about Roatan. What did you guys end up doing here?
So we were originally going to go to play. There's a bar in there that you go to. It's nice, but it was just the two of us. You can't really enjoy it just two because if you go swimming, you got to leave your stuff inside by your table, and we're kind of leery doing that. We have Sanctuary Club. We have drinks, so we decided to get off and shop. It rained that morning, but it turned into a beautiful afternoon. So we got off after it rained. We shopped. We got back on, and then we headed right to the Sanctuary Club, the Sanctuary deck. They have two hot tubs, a pool, and some really comfortable loungers and some really comfortable cabanas. It's a wonderful space. They have food you can order, and it's complimentary food, very very good food. They have their wait staff, the managers there, man, extraordinarily friendly. This is the experience that you get like I said, in when you're star class and when you're in the Haven and when you're in the Retreat Yacht Club, this is the kind of service you get when you go to those. And that's what this was. My first experience like this. Um, it was amazing. It was wonderful. The people were so friendly, so nice, so accommodating. Always there whenever you needed them. It was. I mean, honestly, I didn't want to ever leave the day. It kind of ruined the rest of the cruise. I didn't get to see as much and do as much as I wanted to. I didn't have dinners in the regular restaurant. I just kind of always ate in the sanctuary restaurant. So it kind of ruined everything else. I'm not sure about going back on these ships, not being in Sanctuary Club, but it was definitely a absolute wonderful experience. So we end up at Roatan, just went and shopped and got back on and immediately went up to the Sanctuary Club.
Well, sounds like a good day in Roatan. Let's go to your second day now. Like we said, your second stop was in Belize City. What did you end up doing here for the day?
Second verse, same as the first. It rained that morning. Maybe before the rain, we took a tender over to Belize City, shopped around. I haven't been to Belize City in a while. I've only been, I think this is my fourth time. The first two times we did butts up cave tubing. If you haven't done it, do it.
Okay.
It's a good experience. It's fun. The first time we just did cave tubing. The second time we did ATVs and cave tubing. The third time I never even got off the ship. Galveston used to be Belize, Honduras, Cozumel. And once Costa Maya's on there, they've kind of stopped going to Belize as much. When you go to Belize on NCL, you go to Harvest Cay. So I haven't been there in a while. So we got off. I tendered over. We looked at the shops. Kind of shopped around a little bit. Kind of took in what it was. Tendered back, and then went right to the Sanctuary Club.
I don't think I've ever been to. I know I've definitely never been to Belize City, but ever been to a place that has like the cave tubing.
No, that sounds awesome. Is it where you see like the bats and it's very dark and they kind of light up like you're kind of, I mean, just cave tubing, I guess. Are you with a lot of people or is it kind of like a smaller raft?
No, you are. So they take a group of you. If you do just the cave tubing, they kind of take you kind of trek through the jungle. Honestly, they cut a path through the jungle. It's a little bit of a trek. It's not easy to do for some people. I might have a little hard time doing it. The first time I did it was, like I said, 10 years ago. I might have a little harder time doing it now. But you go through the jungle and then you come in and you're at the it's like the mouth of this, I guess it's a river or whatever it is. It runs through this cave. You get in there, you all get on inner tubes. They kind of tie all the inner tubes together and the workers pull you through. There are parts that are deep and they're swimming, and there are parts that are so shallow, it's called butts up for a reason. You got to, they say butts up, you got to pull your butt up because they're pulling you over rocks. And if you leave your butt down, you're going to hit a rock. It's not going to
Oh gosh.
So, but you go in there, you got the the light on your head. The highlight of it for me is at one point you go around the corner and there's this part of the cave that has collapsed in a long time ago, and there's like little trickling waterfalls, and you're in the dark, and suddenly it's just nothing but sunlight, greens and reds and oranges, and then the jungle. It's like the jungle's out there, and it's just, I mean, it was my very first cruise, and it was a stunning. My second cruise, I'm sorry, and it was just a stunning thing to see. And it stuck with me the whole time. So to this day, I can still picture in my mind how beautiful it was. And they take you out the other end, and you kind of pull you down. The water in the river is kind of cold. When it's hot, it feels great. And then the second time we did, I do the ATVs. You can do zip lining there too, and they kind of gave you a abbreviated route so you don't walk through the jungle as much as you killed some time. I would say if you go to Belize City and you can, I would say do butts up cave tubing.
Dude, that sounds sweet. Now you're making me want to go
Yeah.
book a cruise right now.
Find a cruise that goes there.
Yeah, first you got to search. First you got to get a good travel agent. So you reach out to Jeremy or us. We find you a cruise and we talk about booking a good excursion like that, because that sounds really awesome.
It is, man. I mean, I've done it twice. I probably would only do it again with somebody. If Lori and I end up going, she's never been, I would definitely do it again then. It's not something I would do multiple times, by myself. I would go to Paradise. I would go to Sancho's multiple times. I probably wouldn't do that one multiple times.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, it's like some of those things you see multiple times. It's like you loses its, feel, you're not as excited the second time.
The other part is you get into Belize City. It's a tender port. So it was already the inconvenience of being a tender. It's not a slow tender. It was like a 40-minute turnaround from getting off the ship to pulling in, Then it's an hour bus ride. You leave the city and go out into the jungle. It's an hour bus ride.
Wow.
Out to where you're going. And then so it's an all-day thing. They get you back. They're really good at it. They've been doing it for years. They're really reputable, so don't feel, worried. They do it, every week, every day. So but it's a full day. It's a lot.
That's awesome. So now you were in Cozumel. You were just there the week prior on the Virgin cruise. Did you guys do anything differently this time around when you were in Cozumel?
It rained. It was nasty. It rained the whole day, and it was pouring at some parts. They had some street flooding going on there, so I got off real quick, bought something I needed to buy, and got back on. But we couldn't really go to the sanctuary club. We couldn't do a lot of things, man. It was kind of a down day for us. It was kind of relaxed, stayed indoors. The casino's not open. We kind of just we did a little trivia. Did some stuff around the ship, but yeah, it was kind of a down day for us.
All right, well, moving into your sea days now, I'm hoping the weather was a little bit better because it sounds like all three ports so far you didn't have the best weather on this cruise. But let's talk about your sea days and kind of how they compared on Sun Princess versus kind of how you spent your sea days on your Virgin sailing.
Well, if it's a sea day, I'm in the casino at some point.
Yep.
So sea day, casino. We did, like I said, we did a little bit of trivia. When you're Princess Plus, you have casual dining, two casual dining. If you're Princess Premier, you have unlimited casual dining. They have a new place on board called O'Malley's. We went there, tried their food out. This was a little bit of a work trip that, is sponsored by our company, Cruise Brothers. They had some meetings. I went to one of those. It's like a 3-hour thing. Some exciting news coming for us coming
Yeah.
out of that meeting. There are some smaller venues for as many people on this ship. I was shocked at how small like Princess Live is and O'Malley's is. I've heard on the Star they've made them bigger, which is a good thing. It's one of those things where you got to get there early. They're gonna fill up. Don't show up at 10 minutes before and be upset it's full. You got to understand you're on a ship with 6,000 people. There's places are going to be full. You got to be able to go with the flow, or know your schedule and get there early. I thought some of the venues would be bigger, but they're not. It is what it is. Get there early or find something else to do.
So I've heard going down to ship layout, I really have heard some negative feedback in terms of, I think, other podcasts out there that were talking about this ship and the fact that it feels like you get easily lost on board, right? So they moved like the buffet down from like the Lido deck down to one of the lower floors, which I think people like that one. But then like some of these other venues, like they just felt like the flow didn't make a ton of sense, and you felt like you kind of got lost. Did you have any did you feel like it was kind of like that, or did you what did
No,
you think of the ship layout?
that was fine. I mean, I've never been on a ship where like day one you know where everything's at. Generally, on a 7-day cruise on a big massive ship like that, it takes some time. You figure out, you come in the elevators, all right, which way is what? And by the fourth, fifth day, you're like, out of the elevator, I'm going this way. I know where I'm going. It's kind of the same thing. Some spots, the spots you like, you're going to, they have, when you get out of the elevator or go down the stairs, they tell you what's on the floor and which way to go.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't understand. There's an app if you want to go know where you're going on. You just go on the Princess app, put it in there, and it'll tell you directions how to get there. So I don't understand how you could get lost on a princess ship.
I think the big thing, Jeremy, was like it's different than the other princess. Like a lot of the other princess ships are very similar in how they're structured, and this one was like completely different. So for us that like have never been on a princess ship, like it wouldn't be that big of a deal. But for people that have like always gone on a princess cruise, there's some drastic changes to the layout, and that's why they were saying it was a little bit harder. But it sounds like it's nothing that you can't overcome.
I've been on 3 Royal class ships. This is my first Sphere class, and honestly, I didn't find it any harder or any easier than any other ship I've ever been on. There are a couple spots, you have to go. You can't get there from this level. You have to go down a level, go up. But almost every cruise ship I've ever been on has this area like that because there's something in the way. I didn't really have a problem, honestly. I don't understand how anybody could have a problem. Like I said, it's posted everywhere where everything is. You have an app that tells you where to go. If you go on the app and say, I want to go here, the app tells you, go here, go here, go here, and you're there. So getting lost on a Princess cruise ship is really hard to do. You have to almost want to be lost to get lost on a Princess cruise ship.
Now, one thing you mentioned, Jeremy, that you spent some time at O'Malley's. You said this was newer to this ship. Is this like an Irish pub, Irish restaurant? What is O'Malley's?
It's an Irish pub. They have live music there at night. I would like to have gone. We showed up. It was full.
Okay.
You can stand there. When we showed up for lunch, we showed up before it opened, and it got full. And then once it opened, they're trying to get everybody help. But you go from it's not like they open it and people come in and start helping them. Every table was already full, and then they come in and start taking orders. So it was just a big backup. I don't know how it was like an hour after that when people started cycling in and out. But people were upset. They had to wait. The guy from Lalito Loca was there. I met him. He walked in. He couldn't get a
Okay.
table. He had to turn around and go. Don was there. I didn't really meet Don, but he was on there too. But yeah, it was like I said, it's a small venue, and I wish it would have been bigger. You got to get there early if you want to go.
Now let's kind of transition over to the food, right? All of us cruise because we love the food on board. Where did you find yourself eating breakfast and lunch on board the ship for Sun Princess?
So I'm going to hit the places that aren't sanctuary first, and the buffet is a little different. This is not a serve yourself buffet; they serve you. Um,
Okay.
Virgin kind of does the similar thing. It's a different setup completely, but you don't serve yourself on Virgin. They do have some grab and go things like Virgin has. They have some pre-made sandwiches, some pre-made salads, some pre-made breakfast desserts and stuff. You just grab and go. Those things kind of stay the same. There are a couple places where you grab some desserts and go. Everything else, you serve. They serve you. You tell them what you want. They put it on the plate, serve you. There are the people that take forever. Super picky, taking forever. Seriously, 4 or 5 minutes talking to one guy. It holds a line up, and
Oh,
then no
man.
consideration
I
for the
hate
people
these
around them.
Yeah.
But other than that, I didn't find it moved any slower than almost any other buffet I've been on. They have some other places there that are free, some places that are casual. International Cafe is open, I think 24/7. They have bites and things to eat. Very good. Very, very good. I love that place. The rest of that was Sanctuary Club and Spellbound. I will say the Sanctuary Club, again, that's for people in Sanctuary, that's your dining room. It's open for lunch on sea days. Very, very good lunch. Open for breakfast every day. I think every day. It kind of closes early though. I think that they stop taking people in at like 8:30, so or 9 o'clock in that range. So you got to get there early. We ate dinner there every night except for the night we did Spellbound. And funny enough, Spellbound is actually in the Sanctuary Club, so it
Oh,
is a
wow.
different menu, obviously, but um, they had steak on the menu every single night at the Sanctuary Club. And I said, if they didn't have filet mignon, he told me, hey, don't worry about it. If you want it, just order it. We'll bring it for you. It was fantastic. It was unbelievable service. And he goes, the manager told me, anything you want, tell me, we'll get it for you, even if it's not on the menu.
That's awesome.
They have a prime rib cart. They just push it around. You want prime rib, they pull it out, cut you off whichever size you want, however big you want. Put the gravy on it right there, and that's how they serve you prime rib every single day.
How are you? You're so spoiled now. How are you going to cruise any other way?
I don't know. I need to get richer so I can start just doing sweet class stuff for the rest of my life. They always say, I've always seen people say, when you do the Haven, you'll never want to do anything else. And I was like, I see it. I understand it now.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like you had great service in your Sanctuary Club dining room. I mean, like you said, they were really sounded like real accommodating overall. So you did mention you did do a night at Spellbound. So let's talk about this. This is one of the venues we've talked about on this podcast a couple times, but let's kind of just tell us about the whole experience and what you thought about it.
All right, so they again, that's an experience for them. They sell that. This is big for them. They make it an experience. All right, they make sure it's unique and it's one of a kind. You show up to your room that day in the middle of the day, and you get one of these. It's in your room. On the back side, it's got details. Your name. Where to go to, what time you need to be there. It'll tell you you're part of this group. It'll tell you it's formal attire, and then you show up and you're waiting. You show up to the Sanctuary Club. You're waiting. The manager, the guy, I think it's one of the guys that came up with Spellbound. Very nice gentleman. He takes you to the back. They seat you out. They seat together. You sit at the table. If you have a big group, you're together. If not, we sit next to a very nice family, a mom and a dad, and they're both their sons. They were in their 30s, I believe. So wonderful people to sit next to. The menu is limited. It's a lot of this or that, this or that, this or that. And I looked at it. There wasn't a whole lot of things on there I liked. I will say the things they did have was fantastic, and the things that I didn't eat, everybody else enjoyed. They said was very, very good. I was a little worried when I saw the menu. I was like, ugh, I might have to go eat after this. It's a long night. I'm definitely going to go eat. But I was full at the end, so it was good food. He sits there. He kind of gives you the background of Spellbound. They talk to you. They tell you how Spellbound was created, how it was created. Before they weren't going to do a dinner, and they decided just having people drink for 3 hours with no dinner is probably a bad idea. So they added the dinner beforehand, and they did. So that's why there's not a dedicated dinner space. They kind of do it in the back room of Sanctuary Club, but it doesn't feel rushed. It doesn't feel out of place. It doesn't feel cheap. It's a nice experience. You finish eating, they take you in groups. These people will go here, clubs will go here, spades will go next. They take you around. You go to right outside the casino. There's a door with an S on it. You see this symbol on it. That's all you see. You open the door and it's I mean, you guess you're kind of transported. You know, this is very linked to the Magic Castle. They give you a little spiel about the Magic Castle and how everything was created and all this stuff. And then a door opens and you go through. And they have a piano that's played by a ghost, and you can have to play any song you want, any modern song, and it plays it. So whatever they have it set up to, it's a really cool thing. They take you to this room. You go in there. I don't know if you've seen videos of it or not. It's really cool, man. They got things on the wall that move. And they've got a lot of old memorabilia about magic stuff. They have a lot of crafted drinks, and a bartender that will. There was an alcohol on there I hadn't seen before, and I asked, what is this for? And he goes, I don't have a drink for that. Let me make something for you. And he just came up with something. It was really good. It was some sort of chocolate based drink, and it was
Oh wow.
with cocoa on it. It was really good. He was awesome. He was the best bartender I ever had on any cruise ship. Unfortunately I didn't get his name. So,
That's all right.
but we were looking for him the last 2 nights, because Spellbound is only they only do it certain nights, and he was bartender for a little while in Sanctuary Club, but we missed him the second last night, and we couldn't find him the last day. So it sucked. I didn't get to tell everybody, who he was. I didn't get to do any of that. So it really bothers me because he was such a great bartender. But and then one of the magicians comes in. He goes behind the bar, and they do a big magic show. They do a little, you got some close up magic there. It's 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 unique. It's different. Not always for me. His style's not always for me. It was a good time. Everybody enjoyed it. The drinks are great. He finishes that. They take you to the back, and you go through, and you're there for the main show. Matt, the Mind Noodler, I believe his name is. He's hilarious. His show was fantastic. Very good at what he does. Very, very entertaining. I would do it again because I want to see it again because he was great. I'm sure they'll have somebody different on there at one point. I would like to see that, but it was a good experience. At the end, you come back out of it, and you meet him. You can shake hands. I got a picture with him. We you can get some more drinks. It's late. It's almost midnight by that point. It started for us. It started. We got there at 8, and we left there at midnight. It's a long night. Well worth it. Didn't feel like a drug on at all.
That's really cool. I like those kinds of
Yeah.
things that are like long. You have like entertainment plus the meal. You really just that's your night. That's your whole evening.
Yeah.
Kind of like when I did Empire Supper Club. It was like food and entertainment. You like that was it. You're there so late, which I like that.
People see the price and they get a little like, ooh, I don't know if it's worth the price. I know I won't say it's worth it for everybody. I thought it was worth the price for me. $150. You get drinks, you get dinner, you get 2 shows, pretty much 2 magic shows. You get a very cool experience. You get a very unique experience. It's not. I mean, it's. I think they have 2 seatings, at 30 people each seating around there, and they only do it 5 nights on a 7-day cruise, so it's limited. Not everybody's doing it. Only a small number of people on the ship are doing it. So it's an experience, and if you can do it, do it.
And now I know, obviously, you said the food side of it's kind of little like this or that. How about like the drink side of it? Because the cocktail list looks pretty lengthy, right? And there's no like limit, right, when it comes to like number of cocktails you can have throughout the length of your time there.
No, they said they've got these really cool crafted ones, like the Houdini comes out of a box or a chest or whatever, But he's got regular liquor there, can make you any drink you want to make.
That's pretty sweet. This is I want to go on this ship, man. This sounds so awesome.
Well, the Star Princess comes out very soon, and we do have some special pricing.
Yeah. I mean, maybe Michael, we'll have to look. 2025, 2026, maybe.
Yeah, it's the end of 2025. It's December. Um, Mini suite balcony, $1,700, $1,650 a person with Princess Plus. Inside cabins, $1,200 a person with Princess Plus.
It's not
So,
bad. Really
not bad. It's a good deal.
So you kind of talked a little bit about service earlier and how you had really, really good service in the Sanctuary Club. How about on, outside of the Sanctuary Club, in terms of your, walking around the ship, guest services, interactions? How was the service overall? Maybe by the pool? How were the crew on the ship?
Everybody I dealt with was very nice. We had one little issue, something that happened, and didn't quite go the way it was supposed to. We didn't get it taken care of. They were extremely apologetic, and they took care of us wonderfully and guest services. We had another issue with something else. Went down there very easy. Guest services took care of it. I didn't have any problems. 'Cause I've heard people say they're understaffed. I've heard people say a lot of things about the service in the ship. I don't know if they're being picky, if they just had a different cruise experience. I mean, I did spend a lot of time in Sanctuary, but I didn't spend all my day there. I was only a few hours here and a few hours there. I didn't go to the main dining room, so I don't know what that was like. But for the rest around the ship, I didn't find it, slow service anywhere. I didn't find it rough. I know one time I did order something on the on Ocean Now. I never got it. Mark delivered. I think they gave it to the wrong person. It was not me, but it was only a water, so it wasn't a big deal. I will say again, I want to mention them again. In the Sanctuary Club, there's the manager Victor, right? I see him all around the Sanctuary Club deck, and then at Sanctuary dinner. He shook my hand every single time he saw me. He stopped, remembered my name every single time he saw me. Made me feel very special. Our diner, our waiters at dinner, Valentin and Chetan, they were wonderful. They always knew our names. The hostesses, we walked up by the second night, knew who we wanted to sit with, knew exactly who we wanted to, what we wanted, and knew us by name. They sat us right there. And then the chef Peter came out every single night and talked to everybody. It was wonderful. Again, but outside of that, the people at the bars, the people at the International Cafe, the people in guest services, all of them were very nice, and I didn't find it a long wait anywhere.
That's great, and that's neat that the chef was coming out each night and talking to y'all. You don't see that really often. So
no, again, that's the Sanctuary Club. I don't know if that's normal. That's the other half. That's not my normal thing. So I don't know if that's normal or not. If someone else tell me, anybody else here, please comment and let me know if that's what normally happens in these wonderful restaurants that Star Class or Haven, because that's not what I know.
Well, let's move on to some of the add-ons on this ship. So, when we did our episode talking about Princess and Celebrity, one of the things we talked about was Princess Plus and Princess Premier. So I know on this sailing you had Princess Plus. How was it on this sailing?
It's wonderful as always. The Wi-Fi and the tips make it always worth it, and then the drink package with it. I mean, it's just an unbelievable value. Sanctuary Club comes with Premier, and now that I've done it, I don't know if that's an overkill or not, because you get unlimited specialty dining, and on Royal class ships, there's only a couple of specialty dining. There's more specialty dining on this one. Spellbound is not included in that. That's a whole different thing. But they have multiple restaurants on this one, and we thought about going to one of them, but we just didn't feel the need. The Sanctuary Club was so good. I don't know why I would want to go. I mean, their menu was great every single night. We had plenty of things to eat. The food was fantastic every night. We're like, why would we miss out on this? I don't know. I feel like if you're doing one, you're kind of taking away from the other. All the other stuff that comes with Premier is great. But for me, the big selling point on Premier is unlimited specialty dining. And I feel like you already have wonderful specialty dining with your own specialty dining room. And now Premier is included in that. So now you get all the specialty restaurants, but you're already kind of wasting, I don't know, you're kind of robbing Peter to pay Paul a little bit in that one.
Yeah. So you're saying, basically, just to recap, when you booked it, it didn't include Premier, so you got Plus. But going forward, if you do book the Sanctuary Mini Suite, you do get Premier. I think. What about the drink side of it with the Plus? Did you ever buy drinks that weren't included that they had to upcharge you or whatever?
No, I don't really buy that. I mean, Crown and Coke's on there, and I'm good. A couple of specialty drinks. Nothing over that. It's 15 drinks a day. I don't really meet that minimum most days. When I'm going hot and heavy, I'm not really meeting that minimum. Premier has a lot of unlimited things, unlimited pictures, unlimited, drinks, unlimited dining, all that stuff. It's a wonderful value for the price you pay for it. So I don't want to take away from it, and it just makes booking the Sanctuary that much better. You get so many things, and it gives you even more dining options. So it's well worth it. But for them to get them, to make sure it's all the same on par with everybody else, they kind of had to pair it with that. But it is what it is.
Now, outside of Princess Plus, was there any other add-ons you ended up adding onto this cruise?
Yeah, when we got there, they had the thermal pass. We went and took a tour the first day just to check the price. I think it was like $180 per person. We ended up doing that. As far as thermal suites, again, this is the fourth time I've done it, the third time. I've done it on MSC on the Seascape. I did it on the Prima. And I had it on an old, I think I had it on the Carnival Magic one time. I wouldn't say this is as good as the Prima or the Seascape. It was nice. They had a nice whirlpool. They had a sauna. They had a salt room. They had two saunas. They had the showers. They had the heated loungers. It was nice, and for $180, I don't feel like it was overpriced. I thought it could have been a little nicer, but it was a nice, relaxing experience. We went every single day. The only time we didn't was the last sea day. It was too crowded that one day. We didn't find it overly crowded when we went most times, so it was nice. It was well kept. There was a couple of little things that didn't quite work the way they were supposed to. That kind of bothered me a little, but there were little things that wasn't a big deal.
Nice. Yeah, I've actually not. I don't think I've ever done the thermal suite, so I'm looking forward to maybe on Alaska adding that on because it'll be cold out there.
Cold out, yeah.
You're gonna want to get in the sauna or the steam room, warm up a little bit. That sounds good, Jeremy. Thanks for the review on the thermal suite. So now let's jump over to entertainment. So overall, how was the entertainment on board? Did you get to see any shows? I know they've got the big show, I think, in the Sphere, correct? How was that? Any live music that you got to experience? Comedy? Anything around those lines?
So we did go see the Le Cirque style show in the Sphere. That's a really cool spot. The Sphere leading to the bar in front of it, man, it's really nice. It's unique. It's unique. It looks different. It's beautiful. It's really a great addition. The seating on it was very comfortable. Not a lot of seating. Get there early as everything else. Um, the show was good. I wouldn't call it great. I mean, I just saw Dual Reality like 5 days before that. They weren't going to live up to that, and that kind of it's supposed to be the same style of show. They did very well. I would not take away from the show, but it wasn't. I mean, it wasn't really Dual Reality, so it was very nice. Some people thought it was. Some people were blown away by it, but my experience right before that was better than this one, so it kind of took away from it a little bit. We tried to go to another show. I mean, I'm not a small guy. The seats were very small and cramped. I ended up not staying. I didn't even get to see the show. It was uncomfortable, so I ended up leaving. Unfortunately, we did see some stuff in the piazza. You know, we were there during Christmas. They did big tree lighting. That was very cool. The ship was decorated beautifully for Christmas. I mean, absolutely beautiful. They had Christmas stuff. They had Hanukkah stuff. They went all the way out. It was beautiful. If you want to go check out a good Christmas experience, Princess does a great job. Um, so we saw some music in the piazza. The piazza is a beautiful space. Um, they had the big LED screen. They had a big, huge Christmas tree. The seating around is a little limited. So it's kind of get what you can get, but you can also stand there and just watch it and see everything. So, and it's 3 levels, so there's plenty of places to sit there. We listened to the music there for a little bit. Both, it was good music, good musicians. So, and then of course the casino. We spent a lot of time there.
The piazza is very similar to like what you've seen on Carnival, right? Where they got the LED screen kind of shows on like Celebration or Jubilee, right?
Yeah, they had it on the Royal class ships as well. They kind of do the same thing. I mean, if you've been on the older like the Millennium class ships on Celebrity, they kind of have the same thing where it's open and you see 3 levels up, and they have it on some of the NCL ships. It's they've always had that on Princess ships, but this is probably one of the nicer piazzas I've seen.
Nice. And now you mentioned you spent some time in the casino. How was the casino on the Sun Princess, being kind of a newer casino?
It's smoking. That's a downer. It sucks. You know, it's I'm gonna keep calling back to it because I love it so much. The Prima had a very big, spacious casino with a cordoned off, not a smoking place. They had a large non-smoking casino and a spot just for smokers. Having a casino and sitting next to somebody who's blowing smoke in your face it's hard to enjoy it when you don't like smoke. It sucks. Um, for the rest of it, though, big variety of stuff to do. Lots of machines, tables, a little more cramped than I thought it would be. I wouldn't call it cramped or small. It's a little tighter. Some of the walkways are a little tighter than I thought they would be, but it's still a good casino. We had some good luck there from time to time, so it worked out well. Gambled enough to get a free cruise, which you parlay that into an Alaska cruise. So I'm very happy.
And you mentioned it was smoky, so I'm guessing like kind of like some of the new Carnival and Royal ships, there's no like smoke free section of the casino. It's just all smoking.
I think so. They're supposed to have these things on the floor that kind of pull the smoke away, and so when you walk in, you don't really feel, you don't really smell it like big smoking area. Someplace you can smell it when you walk into it or smell when you walk away, and it's not overwhelming. But when you sit next to somebody who's smoking or 2 machines down from somebody that's smoking, it doesn't matter if it's what you have on the floor to disperse it. It's still there,
Yeah.
so it take away from some.
Now, I know we kind of mentioned the ship layout at the start. Was there anything else you wanted to point out when it came to the ship layout and how you overall felt about it?
I kind of like the Lido deck move to the middle of the ship. Everything's right there. And there's still a lot of places to eat up top too. We didn't spend a lot of time at the pool because of the weather and because we had our own pool deck. So when we walked by there a couple times, there's taco stand, there's burger, there's pizza out there. I mean, there's a lot of places to eat out by the pool and up on the upper deck. So it's not like you're up by the pool, you got to go all the way down to deck 9 or 8 and then back up. There's places to eat there, plenty of places to eat there. So I think moving it down there is probably a good move. You kind of put it with everything else. You can walk out there and then you go to the show, or walk out there and go to the piazza or go to the casino. I actually I think I like it better than being up on like deck 16.
And kind of talking about some of the higher decks on the ship, super random question. What's the status? I know this ship was supposed to, up on one of the higher decks, have that whole track thing. Is that just all sitting empty, or like what are they doing with that area right now?
They've torn some of it down. Some of it's still there. It's just kind of there.
Okay.
They're gonna. I don't know if they're waiting to dry dock to really do something with it. They haven't really done anything with it.
Any update on what they're gonna do with Star Princess up there?
Yeah, they're doing something completely different. I don't know what it is though. I think they've kind of realized that ship sailed. And luckily, they're still building it. I didn't see what they're doing with it and what they're doing different though.
Okay, so they are utilizing it though.
Yeah, they're changing for sure.
Well, unfortunately, your cruise comes to an end, which is always sad. And this was probably even more sad because you did 2 cruises and this was like 12 nights on board a ship coming to an end. So, how was that disembarkation process at Fort Lauderdale, maybe even compared to just a few days prior in Miami?
It was easy, done well. We checked our bags. We used to always walk off. I've kind of gotten away from that. Back when we used to walk off, not a lot of people did. Everybody put the bag tag on and walked, went off with their group. There's a large number of people who walk off now, and it makes it for pretty hectic. So we've kind of eased up. We walk off out of Galveston because obviously we just get in our car and drive home. If we had an early flight, we would probably walk off, but we leave enough time now, 12, 1 o'clock flights, to let the mask get off, grab your stuff, get off there. They have buses out there. You pay $20 and they'll take you right to the airport. So it was an easy session.
Well, to kind of wrap up here now, Jeremy, let's kind of talk about just how this cruise experience kind of ranked overall. We asked you this last week when we were talking about your Virgin sailing. How did this sailing on Sun Princess compare to some of your other experiences on Sun Princess? And are you looking to book this ship or Star Princess in the future?
It's definitely near the top. And I will say that because, again, cheating, because the sanctuary. It's hard to beat it. It was. I mean, I can't. People get tired of me saying it, but it was fantastic. It was such a great experience. So it's hard to beat it. For a cruise ship overall, it wasn't like my favorite experience ever, but it was very high up. I thought the ship was. I mean, it's new. It's gorgeous. It's pretty. You know, they've done a lot of really good things with it. It's my favorite princess ship so far I've been on, and even not being in the sanctuary, just the way it looks, it's been my favorite princess ship. The newest ship I've been on for them was a Sky Princess, and I was on that a couple years after it came out, so it was still fairly new. This ship is just nicer for me. I would book again. I actually want to book again. I would love to book the Star. The Star is actually going to be doing. The Star is going to be doing Alaska, which would be amazing to do on that ship. Um, I would love to book the one next December. I can't because I'm already on another cruise at that point. But I would definitely 100% book a Sun or Star again.
So, Jeremy, we just talked about Virgin last week. Obviously going to Princess now. If let's say someone has, the option to go on a 7-night Virgin or a 7-night Princess, this ship, right? So going on the new Sun Princess, but not doing the suite, because I feel like the suite definitely sways you one direction, but just the balcony room on the Sun Princess, balcony room on the Virgin ship. Which one, as a travel agent, are you going to recommend for them? I know it's different because it's based on the person, right, and what they want to do, but let's take that factor out and just say, for Michael and I, what would you recommend for us?
I would probably recommend Virgin for the food experience that comes with it.
Yeah.
I would say, honestly, do both at some point because
Yeah.
they are very different experiences. Booking Princess, the Sun Princess especially, with a plus package versus doing a Virgin cruise, you're gonna have two very different cruise experiences. I would say Virgin because of what comes on it, because of the experience of doing that. And you could also, book Virgin into their Rockstar suites. It's going to be the same kind of thing as booking into the Sanctuary Club. Price wise, the Sanctuary Club is probably going to be a little cheaper, but both outstanding experiences from what I understand. I don't think that Virgin has a specially dining room for the people in the Rockstar, but they do have a special deck for them. I don't know if it's a pool or not, but I would definitely say Virgin, unless you're going to do Sanctuary Club, then probably Sun Princess.
Well, Jeremy, we just want to say thanks again for coming on the podcast. These past 2 episodes now, we always enjoy having you on and just hearing about your experiences and all the knowledge you bring to the podcast as a whole. To kind of leave you here with a final question, what does cruising look like for you coming up in the future?
I've got 6 booked for this year. I'm going on the Firenze in end of February. I've got my first XL class ship on the Celebration in April, and then 3 weeks after that, I'm doing Alaska. My love and I are going to Alaska on the Royal Princess. So yeah, we're going on the Celebration. We're going on the Royal Princess. 3 weeks apart. We're very, very excited about that. We've got the Thanksgiving cruise we're going on. We're going on the inaugural Celebrity XL, and then I've got my 7-day on Virgin. We're doing that one too. So we do on the Thanksgiving cruise. I do have special pricing on that. It's posted on my page. So if you want to check out a good price for a Thanksgiving cruise.
Are you trying to eat some turkey with Michael and I on a cruise this year?
Yes, book it.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, maybe that means that we'll get to have you on again sometime soon, Jeremy. We haven't even talked about this, but I would love to have you as always on the podcast. So that would be awesome.
Well, I told Lori that after we do Alaska, she's coming on the podcast with us.
All right.
So
there we go.
Do it.
She's behind me, likely scowling at me right now. She's laughing at me right now because I told her we were doing it. She doesn't really want to do it, but I told her we're going to have to.
Hey,
I have 2 microphones, so we have to do it.
Lori, if you're listening, you don't have to come on, but we appreciate it. You don't have to do anything. Don't listen to him. But that's awesome. No, Jeremy, thank you so much again for listening. And thank you everyone at home or in your car, wherever you're listening from. Thank you for tuning into another episode of the Cruise Conversations podcast. We will be back next Wednesday, as always, with more cruise content. So make sure you're following along. Make sure you're following Jeremy at The Cruising Bear, and make sure you're following us at Cruise Conversations. Again, look forward to bringing you exciting episodes. We got our cruise coming up in the next couple of weeks with some friends that have never been on the Oasis class. So that's going to be a really awesome time. So really looking forward to that. But stay tuned for more content. And again, thank you so much for listening. We'll see you back here next Wednesday.